Hello, I'm Ollie and this is Criminally, where I talk about crime, pulp, horror, that kind of thing. Today, none of that. Today I want to talk to you about how to start and grow a BookTube channel. So this is something I've been thinking about doing for a while as a video, particularly because increasingly I'm getting questions from other people who are either creators already or who are thinking about starting a BookTube channel, about how I set my channel up and how I've managed to grow it over time. And that has, particularly happened in the last few months, because in the last few months my channel has grown a lot. So I started my channel in September of 2021. And as we are now in January 2023, I've got to over 20,000 subscribers, which for a BookTube channel is pretty good going. So I thought it was worth me making a video about it just to talk through the things I've done. Now, I'm no expert on this. All I know is my own experience, but I thought it was worth sharing my experiences with people who are, either have got their own channel and are looking to grow it, or who are thinking about starting a channel. I also yesterday did a live with MJ from the channel Reading This Life, so I'll put a link to that in the description of the video. So we talked about some of the same topics in that, so you may find it useful to watch that video as well. But in this video anyway, I'm going to go through 5 different things. So I'm going to talk about how to set up a channel in the first place. So if you've already got a channel, you may want to skip that part, but you may find some useful stuff there as well. I'm going to talk about how to get people to watch your videos, how to get people to keep watching your videos, and how to get people to come back and watch more of your videos. And then I'm also going to talk more generally about growth and about the YouTube algorithm and how you can use that to help grow your channel. Okay, so firstly then, how do you go about setting up a channel? And I'm not going to talk here about like the technical ins and outs of what you have to do on YouTube to start a channel. I'm going to talk more generally about thinking about the concept of your channel. There are tons of videos out there that will tell you how to actually physically set up a channel. What I want to talk about is, particularly for BookTube, what are the sorts of things that I thought about when I was setting up my channel, and what do I think it would, be a good idea for you to think about. And a lot of these kind of overlap with each other, but one of them is the name for your channel. So the name for my channel is Criminally. So that is I think a name that encapsulates what the channel is about. So it's got kind of crime in there, it's got my name in there, and I talk about crime fiction and dark fiction a lot on the channel, but it's also slightly tongue-in-cheek. It's a bad pun, and I think that kind of gives a sense of what the channel is about. I think you need to think about, before you start a channel, exactly what your channel is about, and I'm not sure that books is enough. There are thousands of channels on YouTube that talk about books. So when I started my channel, I wanted to be quite focused and to talk about particular kinds of books that I could see weren't really getting talked about that much on BookTube. So I tend to talk on my channel about about crime and horror fiction, and as well as new releases, particularly talk about kind of older, lesser known crime and horror fiction. And that that seems to have worked for me. People like hearing about books that they're not hearing about elsewhere. But for you, it will be different. And you need to think about, what knowledge have you got from your reading in the past that will help you start a channel that gives something that's a little bit different to people. And once you've thought about that, think about how you can bring that theme of your channel front and center. So if you've watched my channel before, or indeed if you watched the very beginning of this video, you will know that at the start of every video, I say, this is Criminally, where I talk about crime, pulp, horror, that kind of thing. So straight away at the start of every video, I'm letting people know what my channel is about. Now, I don't only talk about those kinds of books on the channel. I talk about all kinds of books on the channel. But those are my focus, and those are what I think keep people coming back. So it's important to do that, and I think it's important to have a name that reflects what your channel is about. So to give you another, I think a really good example of someone who has done this very well, not a YouTuber, but someone who is very big in the kind of book blogging and publicisation space generally, and that is Mother Horror. So if you are into horror fiction, you probably know the name Mother Horror. She's got a very big Instagram account, a very big Twitter account. She does, she's got a blog which is popular. She does, she runs she's part of the Nightworms subscription box service. She's a publicist. She's recently edited and published a collection of short stories. So she's a really big name in modern horror. Now, I followed her on Instagram for years, and her original Instagram name was Sadie Reads Them All, I think, something like that anyway. So Sadie, her name is Sadie Hartman, and originally her account was called Sadie Reads Them All, which is a really kind of bland, vanilla kind of name. So you will find loads of Bookstagram accounts or BookTube accounts with names like that. And what that means is, it doesn't really tell you what the channel's about. It tells you it's about books, but that's it. And also, it doesn't really tell you. It's not memorable. Yeah, it doesn't tell you what's different about that account, and it's not easy to remember because it's so similar to so many other names. So Sadie Hartman decided, very wisely, I would suggest, to change the name of her account and effectively change her brand to Mother Horror, which is a fantastic name. So it tells you the account's about horror. It tells you it's run by a woman. So it's, you can imagine it's going to have a particular focus on female authors, and it tells you really that it's an older woman. So it tells you something about the person and something about what they're going to be talking about. And I tried to do something similar with the name Criminale, in a slightly different way. And I would say I don't think it's as good a name as Mother Horror. I think Mother Horror is such a good name. And when Sadie's Bookstagram account was called Sadie Reads Them All, it wasn't that big. Mother Horror as a brand is huge now. So that's definitely something you should think about. You should also think about, when you go into setting up your channel, how do you want your channel to function? So do you want to have a set schedule? And I would say that having a set schedule is a good idea. So the algorithm on YouTube apparently likes knowing that you will put up videos at certain times during the week. So I, right from the start, have had a set schedule for my channel. My videos have always gone up at 5 p.m. UK time. That has my schedule has changed a bit over time because I've started doing a video every day rather than I was originally doing on set days during the week. But having a schedule, I think, is really important as well. And then the other thing is to think about what your minimum level of quality is for your videos. What do you want your videos to look and feel like? And how do you make sure that you are consistently delivering that quality? So part of that is a technical question. So I film all of my videos and have always filmed all of my videos on my phone. So you don't need really expensive equipment to make BookTube videos. Everybody pretty much nowadays has a smartphone with a decent enough camera in it that can make videos that are good enough quality to go onto BookTube. Two things you do need to think about, I think, are lighting and sound quality. So if you look back at some of my older videos, the sound quality is really bad, and it did take me a while to get that right. I tried a plug-in microphone on my phone, and I know there are people who just film using their phone without any microphone at all, and they've managed to make it work and their sound quality is fine. But when I was just filming using my phone, I found that the sound quality wasn't good enough. So I was using a Rode plug-in microphone that literally just plugs into the side of the phone and sticks out of it, but I wasn't happy with the quality of that either. I ended up investing in a Blue Yeti microphone, which is what I use now, and I think the sound quality is a lot better as a result. So try different things. Try just using your phone and try uploading videos as private videos and listen to them yourself and get friends to listen to them. You can share the link with them and just make sure you're comfortable with the sound quality of the video. And then you also, and as for lighting, so I now use lighting. So I have a light up there which just helps illuminate my videos better. Originally I didn't, and I don't think not having a proper dedicated photographic light I don't think that's necessarily something you have to do, but you do need to make sure that the room you are filming in is reasonably well lit. So I've always filmed in the same room pretty much, and I've got a decent sized window over there, and I've got lights above me which are usually on as well. So even before I had the actual photographic light, I was able to get reasonable lighting in my videos, but only if I filmed during the day. So the limitation I had was I couldn't film like early in the morning or late in the afternoon, during the autumn and winter months, and I couldn't film at night. So now I've got the light, I've got a lot more freedom to film when it's convenient for me, rather than it, the daylight being at the right level for me. So that's something else to think about as well. And I would also say you don't need to spend loads of money on lights if you do decide to get lights. The lights I got I think I got 2 of them. So I've effectively got a spare, and it was like about 80 quid or something like that on Amazon. So you can spend, as with anything that's used by professionals, you can spend hundreds of pounds on lights, but I don't think you need to. You can get reasonable quality cheap ones, or cheapish ones nowadays. And then the most important thing about the channel is, and this goes back to kind of the name and the theme of your channel, is be yourself. So you'll always hear people say that about BookTube, but it's really true. And I never imagined when I started my channel that people would want to watch me, Ollie, talk about books, but they do. And I think the reason they do is because when you are yourself, you are comfortable, you're not pretending to be someone else, and you talk from the heart. And I think that's what people want on BookTube. They want people's honest opinions, passionately expressed, about the books that they've read. They don't necessarily need loads of polish. They don't necessarily need, particularly, academic opinions on things, or there are certainly channels that do that very, very well. What they want is to know, what you thought about the book. And for that opinion to come from someone they feel is a real person, rather than, someone writing in a newspaper or something like that. So those are kind of my tips for, thinking about how to start your channel, and get it set up in the first place. And what I would say, if you've already got a channel and you're reflecting on some of the things I've talked about, and especially the kind of the theme of your channel and the name of your channel, don't be afraid to rebrand. Sadie Hartman rebranded, and it was hugely successful for her. So don't be afraid to do that. There's no reason to not do that. I think as long as you let your existing subscribers know that you're going to rebrand, it won't be a problem. Okay, next then, let's talk about how to get people watching your videos. And there's a number of different things here. And the most difficult thing on YouTube, on BookTube, is to get people to click on your videos in the first place. And that's to actually get them to see the video, to even click on it. And then also, once they've seen it, to actually, as they're scrolling through their phone or whatever, to choose yours to click onto. So let's talk about both of those things. So the first thing is effectively like discoverability. So I'll talk later on about how you can try and use the algorithm to make your videos, get presented to more people. But let's also just talk about ways that you can make sure your video shows up in search results. So I've got videos which consistently, even though they're like old videos, perform well because people find them. So think about the sorts of things that people might be searching for on YouTube when they're thinking about books. So top 10 videos always do well. So like top 10 best horror books, or even be quite specific, top 10 horror books set in winter, or something, that kind of thing. There's different things you can do just to make your videos more likely to turn up in the search results. Also think about making sure you are putting as much information as you can into the description for your video. So YouTube, doesn't watch your videos. So what YouTube knows about your videos for the purposes of search is purely down to the information, the text information you put in those videos. So think about what you're putting in the title for your video to make sure YouTube knows who it should be recommending it to, but also use things like tags and also the description for your video. So one of the things I try and do whenever I do a video where I'm talking about multiple books, like a wrap-up video or something like that, or a top 10 video, is to list all of those books in the description. Because what that means is if somebody searches for that book, they're likely, they're more likely to find your video. They won't find it otherwise, unless the name of the book is in the title of your video or the description. If somebody searches for it, they won't find it, even if you've given the most wonderful description ever of that book in the actual video. They're not going to know. So think about that, and also don't be afraid to be a bit clickbaity. So don't be afraid to use titles that are designed to draw people in. As long as your video delivers on the promise of the title, I don't think that's a problem at all. So let me give you an example of that. So every week I do a single book review video. So I do a video where all I talk about is just one book. And I've done that every week pretty much since I started the channel. Now, often I will just call those videos, title by author, book review. So, The Stand by Stephen King, book review. But sometimes I try something a bit different. And trying something a bit different, I've found usually works. So, for example, one of my videos that consistently has done really well is my review of the book House of Leaves by Mark Z. Danielewski, which is a famously difficult book to read. So rather than calling that video, House of Leaves by Mark Z. Danielewski book review, I called it How to Read House of Leaves. So I made it a how-to video rather than a review video. And as I say, that video consistently gets a good number of views, every week. And it has grown my channel as a result. So I've got a lot of subscribers off that video as well. And another example of a video where I played around with the name is my most successful video. So I had one video that I published last year that is largely responsible for the number of subscribers I've got now. And that was a review of a book called Notice by an author called Heather Lewis. So this is not a well-known book at all. It's not in print anymore. It's not a book that anybody would have been searching for on YouTube, I don't think, or very, very few people would have been. So if I'd called that book, if I'd called that video Notice by Heather Lewis book review, I don't think it would have got anywhere near the number of views it's got. I think it probably would have got 400 or 500 views. As it is, that video has had 400,000 views, and the reason is because I called it the most disturbing book I've ever read. Okay, so I used a very clickbaity title for it, but I made sure that the video lived up to the promise of that title. So in the rest of the video, I talk about the book, I review the book, but I also talk about it in comparison to other disturbing books I've read to say why it is more disturbing than those books. So don't be afraid to be clickbaity. I think people can feel a bit anxious or a bit funny about it, but I don't think there's anything wrong with it, and I certainly. I don't have a problem with it in terms of my consumption of videos as a viewer. So do think about those things. Think about discoverability, and think about the way you are titling and describing your videos, and also think about using thumbnails. So there are certainly some booktubers who are very successful who don't really use thumbnails. They just will use the image that YouTube provides when you upload the video, which will just be like a frame from the video. I, right from the start, have done thumbnails, and I've gradually evolved the way I do them over time, and I think my thumbnails now are a lot better than they used to be. So two things, I guess, about thumbnails. One is, find some software that you can use to create them. Canva is a thing that a lot of people use. Personally, I use an app called Procreate on my iPad, it's a paid app, but it's only about like £10 or something like that. And there's no monthly fee or anything. You pay for it and you've got it. And that allows you to create, quite professional looking thumbnails. And I think it goes back to what I said at the start about having a kind of level of quality that you want for your videos. I think people want, as I said, they want to feel like they are listening to real people on BookTube, but I think they also want there to be a certain level of quality. And I think people are more likely to click on something if they perceive that it has quality from the description and the thumbnail than they are if they don't perceive that it has quality. So think about creating thumbnails, and also think about how you can use your thumbnails to provide your potential viewers with different information than what's in the title of your video. So sometimes that, you know, what I put on the on my thumbnails is exactly the same as the title, but often I put a different spin on things, and that can, you know, help draw people in as well. So do think about that, and also think about having a consistent look and feel to your thumbnails, so that when people are scrolling through, they know straight away just from seeing that image that it's your video. Okay, let's talk now about how to keep people watching once they've clicked on your video. So one of the things I do in all of my videos is I say right at the start of the video what it's about. So I do my little intro spiel where I say I talk about crime, pulp and horror, and then I say, and today I'm going to be talking about blah, blah, blah. So, you know, I think doing something like that is really helpful. One of the tips my dad gave me years ago for presenting is tell people what you're going to tell them, and then tell them what you've told them. And that's kind of the format I use for my videos. So I do a very brief intro where I tell my viewers what the video is going to be about. I then do the video itself, and then at the end I kind of do a very quick recap, and also a call to action at the end. But I'll talk a bit more about that later. So think about doing that. Think about how you can encapsulate what's in your video into a sentence or two that you can say at the start to get people interested. And then think about how you can keep people interested during the video. And one of my tips is, or one of the things I've done anyway, is to try and be concise. Now this video, I think, will end up being a very bad example of that. But for most of my videos are 10, 12 minutes long, something like that, maybe even between 8 and 12 minutes. So not too long. And I try and be quite concise when I'm talking about books in terms particularly of my description of what's in the book. So I don't think people want to know, the whole plot of a book when they're watching a review video. In fact, they almost certainly don't want to know that because it will probably spoil the book for them. So I give people a flavour of what the book is about, which usually is kind of like a synopsis of the first couple of chapters. And then I talk about why I liked the book, what appealed to me about the book, what did I think the author did, what do I think the author did well in the book, why do I think they would like the book. And I think that's what people want in their videos. So think about that. Top 10 videos, again, are a good type of video to keep people watching. And if you can do going from 10 down to 1 kind of video, even better, because people are going to want to keep watching to see what your number one book is, either that you've read that month or in terms of the top 10 books that you're ranking. One of the things I do as well, and I don't know if this helps or not because I've never really looked at the analytics to confirm, but one of the things I do, and if you're a regular viewer you'll know this, is at the end of every video I pull a book from my bookshelf and I talk about it for 30 seconds to a minute. So a random book. And my perception is that people like that and it keeps them watching because there's that element of mystery. So it's a bit manipulative really, but there's that element of mystery at the end of the video and they want to know what's coming. So do think about that as a, doing something like that as well, giving viewers a little something extra at the end that will keep them watching. Okay, moving on to the fourth section then. So this is how to get people to come back. So firstly, and this kind of, goes to all the other things I've said already, you just want to make videos that people enjoy. People come to BookTube for the books, but they stay for the creators, is my opinion. I think people enjoy watching BookTube videos, and I certainly have lots of comments on my videos from people who say, I don't like the kind of books you read at all, but I enjoy watching you talk about books. So think about, how you're presenting yourself, how you're engaging with your audience. One of the things I always try and do is reply to comments. And as my channel has grown, it's got more and more difficult to do that. And I'm frequently behind in replying to comments, and I certainly am at the moment. But I do try to do that because I think it really helps you build a relationship with your viewers. And it makes them feel like they're being listened to. So when someone takes the time and effort to comment on one of my videos, that means a lot to me. It means they've enjoyed the video. And I try and reply to it because I want to have that conversation with them. The reason I started the channel in the first place was to find people to talk to about books. So replying to the comments has always felt like kind of a natural thing to me. Just something that I feels like the right thing to do. And and something I enjoy doing as well. So, do try and reply to the comments and try and engage with your viewers in other ways. So, I've got a Discord server where, subscribers and other viewers can join and chat to me about books and things like that. We have all sorts of discussions there. I run a monthly book group, which again, helps to, build that engagement with my audience. So there's all kinds of different things I do. One of the other things, and this can be difficult, and I've certainly tripped up on it a few times, is make sure you deliver on your promises. So if you say you're going to do something, try and do it. Don't say you're going to do, a really long series where you talk about, every book that Charles Dickens ever wrote in great detail, if you don't think you're actually going to be able to do that. And try and structure things in such a way that you almost test the waters before you commit to a longer term project. So you don't want to say you're going to do a project that's going to take you a whole year to complete and then find after the first month that nobody's watching the videos. So do think about ways you can, you kind of test out what you're doing. And if it's successful, make sure that it's something that's achievable for you to keep doing. And if you do fail to deliver on your promises, be upfront about it. And, say in like a weekly wrap-up video or something like that, I was trying to do this thing, but, either people don't seem to be enjoying it, so it doesn't feel worth doing, or, I'm struggling to do it because X, Y, and Z. And I think people understand that, people get that. And it also helps build your relationship with your viewers as a person, as a real person, rather than just someone who's talking at them from their phone. So do think about those things as well. I think engagement with your audience is really, really important. Without the viewers, there is no BookTube. My subscribers and viewers are enormously important to me. One of my favourite things I've ever done on the channel was when I did my reading event Garb August in 2022. I got viewers to send in little clips to me that I used in my my launch video for it. Just them saying a simple phrase, Happy Garb August. And it was brilliant. It was really nice to actually see what my viewers looked like, but to feel like they were engaged in a video I was doing as well. So that was, that's the kind of thing. Just make people feel like they're important to you, because they certainly should be. Okay, so let's talk about the most difficult one. Let's talk about growth. So firstly, don't be disheartened if you lose subscribers. So it's natural, and YouTube wants you to check your analytics and look at how many subscribers you've got. And you will lose subscribers sometimes. I lose subscribers every day. So when I look at individual videos and look at the stats for those videos, I can see that on most of my videos I will lose at least one subscriber, sometimes more. And that could be for a variety of different reasons. It could be that the person has subscribed to me and then they've watched a few of my videos and decided, actually, no, Ollie's not for me. I'm going to use my time for something else, which is fine. Or it could be that it was a bot, or it could be the person's disabled their YouTube account or whatever. So don't be disheartened when you lose subscribers. But the only real way, I think, to combat losing subscribers, other than making engaging videos that people want to watch, is to try and grow your channel. So one of the things I do every week is at least one of my videos will be a video that I think has the potential to grow the channel. So rather than just videos that are my bread and butter, if you like book reviews, tag videos, those are the things people expect me to put up on the channel and the things that my subscribers enjoy. So, I'm clearly going to keep doing that. But I also always try and do a video that's, a bit clickbaity, or it's a top 10 or something like that I think has the potential to get more people watching. And when you do one of those videos, when you try one of those videos, make sure you look at the analytics for it so you can understand if it has been successful or not, so you can figure out what works. And my personal view of how the algorithm works and how it decides which videos it's going to boost and which videos it isn't is, I think it looks at, when you upload a video, I think it looks at, and this is literally just my opinion and what I've gleaned based on my experiences with the algorithm. So I think it looks at the content and description of your, the information you put on your video, and is that something that it thinks is likely to be popular with viewers? Because what the algorithm wants to do is push videos that people are going to enjoy and engage with. So think about, what is popular on BookTube at the moment? What kinds of videos are people watching? And also think about what kind of videos are your subscribers more likely to watch of yours. Because I think one of the things that the algorithm also looks for is more engagement than usual from your normal subscriber base. So where I've had videos that have been picked up and boosted by the algorithm, and I've had a few, my review of Notice is by far and away the one that got the most boost, but other videos have certainly had it as well. I think those have always been videos where they got more views straight off the bat than most of my videos, because subscribers, they appeal to my subscribers, so people watch them. And then also think about other kinds of engagement. So I think YouTube also looks at, how many likes are your videos getting, compared to average, and how many comments are they getting. And I think it looks for videos that have more engagement as videos that people are more interested in, and that therefore it's more likely to boost them. So I always ask at the end of my videos for people to comment. I do the kind of like and subscribe thing. I have a little graphic that pops up near the start of my videos, but I don't kind of labour the point with that, because I think, for me, if I like a video, I'll just click the like button. I don't have to be told to do it. And if I enjoy a creator's content, I'll subscribe to them. I don't have to be told to do it. I do it because it's in my own interest to do it, because I know if I subscribe to them, I'm more likely to see content from them. But the thing I don't always do, to be fair, I try to do it, but it's something that I don't think comes naturally to some people, is commenting. And I think commenting is the most valuable form of engagement, because it tells you what people like, and it helps you to gauge what you should be doing in the future. But also I think YouTube really values the engagement from comments, and considers that, definitely considers that when it's thinking about what videos it should be sharing more widely to viewers beyond your normal subscriber base. So I always ask people for comments, but I don't just say, please leave a comment. I say, tell me what you've been reading this week. Tell me, what your favourite book, like the book I've just read, is. Tell me if you've read the book I've just been talking about. That kind of thing. So I make it easy for people to comment. And as I said, I love getting the comments. I always try and reply to them. And I think if you do reply to comments, it's more likely that people will comment again. So, I know from my own experience, if I leave a comment on someone's video and they don't reply to it, they don't even acknowledge it, I can't, even though I get it for really big creators, there's no way they can reply to all the comments. But if they do, on the odd occasion that they do, that's really valuable to me, and that makes me much more inclined to comment on one of their videos in the future, because I know they're actually looking at the comments. So do think about, I've said it before, think about how you engage with your audience, and the way you can keep them coming back for more, and that will help. That makes it more likely that your videos will get a boost from YouTube, and you'll get your videos will be seen by more people. You'll find more viewers and subscribers that way. So think about all of those things. And the other thing I would say is, and this kind of goes for everything above, not just growth, but I think it's important for growth as well, is look at what other people are doing. Look at what kind of videos have been successful for the other booktubers that you subscribe to, and think about how you could put your own spin on that video. So, if people do like a comment type video, which people sometimes do, think about, could you do a response video to that? But also just think about, if people are doing top 10s and you can see that they are, they're getting a lot of views on those, then do your own top 10 on a similar theme. I don't think there's any harm in borrowing ideas from other people. I've certainly done it with my channel a lot over the years, year and a half, year and a quarter. Look at what other people are doing, look at what's working for other people, and think about, what can I do in a similar vein? Viewers seem to be enjoying this, so why not try it myself? So do think about that, and don't be afraid to borrow. And also I've talked about analytics a bit in this video. There is a wealth of information that YouTube gives you about your audience and about how they're responding to your videos. So do look at that. And there are, far more knowledgeable people than me who've got videos up on YouTube telling you how to analyse your analytics. Does that make sense? I think it does. So do look at those. Do look at those videos as well, to understand the information that YouTube is giving you. So I hope you found that interesting and useful, whether you've got a channel already or you're thinking of starting one. I did say at the start that I always do a random book from the shelves at the end of my videos. I'm not going to do one in this video because it wasn't really a booky video. It was more of a YouTubey video. But yeah, do let me know if you've got any questions. So if there's anything I've said that you don't understand or you want more information on, either leave a comment here or email me. All my details are in the descriptions of my videos, or on the about page of my channel. So do reach out if you've got any questions. I'm always happy to help other people kind of get their channel started. And it's great as someone who's been doing this for a while, it's great to see new channels coming up and adding to the richness of BookTube. So every channel that starts brings something slightly different to BookTube. And speaking frankly, gives me more people that I can borrow ideas from to continue growing my channel. So do think about all the things I've said. Let me know what's worked for you in the comments as well, because I'm always happy to hear and really interested to hear tips from other people too. But yeah, I will leave it there. But as always, thank you very much for watching. Hope you're safe and well out there. Hope you're reading good stuff, and I'll speak to you again very soon. Cheerio.